Welcome, friends, to another Disattractions episode. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be doing necessarily just a theme park pitch, but we're going to be talking about some theme parks.
Really?
Rides and attractions in these theme parks. Some upcoming ones and some very recent ones that do kind of remind us of things that we would pitch and our thoughts on them. Today we're going to be talking about the new test track that's coming out to Epcot and kind of what our predictions and our hopes for the attraction is. And then we're also going to be talking about Epic Universe, because I went, and I'm going to be giving my review of Epic Universe.
Woo.
I'm one of your hosts today. My name's Brett, and that's Kevin.
I'm Kevin.
Ayo. And let's just get into it.
All right. Just a heads up. I am minorly sick, so if I sound awful, that's what's going on. But it's okay. We'll power through. But yeah, Brett's right. We're going to be talking about Test Track, the new update coming to it, and then Epic Universe. I haven't gone, so I can't give my personal opinion on it, because I live probably the farthest away possible, almost, from that in the United States.
But we can have this be a Q&A session, I mean.
Yeah, it can be. But also, it's just, I want to go, so we're going to be going here. I'm hoping to go here at some point, maybe next year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But guess we'll start off with Test Track, because it's probably a quicker thing to talk about. So Test Track, if you did not know, was closed down for a year?
Something like that.
Which honestly is pretty quick turnover for Disney standards. It's opening up again in July. It closed down for renovation because Test Track 2.0 was released a while ago after 1.0 went kaput, and then they redid it again. It wasn't as good in the redid from everyone's consensus.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I've never liked Test Track, even in this first iteration. Right. I always thought it was kind of underwhelming. But everyone's like, cool, maybe the update will make it better. And then the update was like, oh yeah, no, this is just reheated nachos. So Test Track, what's going on here? Yeah.
I haven't been on 1.0. I have been on 2.0. And probably will be on 3.0 here. But from the little teasers and looks that we've gotten from it, it looks pretty good. It's actually the one thing I'm happy about. This is actually the one attraction that Disney is doing that's fully done, that's unique, versus having their calling back to their IPs or anything like that. They are doing everything here from creatively from the ground up, which is great. It's great to see that stuff, especially in Epcot, when Epcot is now almost turning into Hollywood Studios. It's starting to lose its identity. That's what's, at least in my opinion. And this is still at least keeping that core identity.
Yeah. I agree. I think even the light projections that they're showing within the previews seems like a unique ride function that we haven't really seen before. Now, we'll see if you just go on the ride and it looks like it's this black space with a few lights.
Yeah.
But from the way they're promoting it, it looks really cool, like it's going to follow your car or something. From early indications, it seemed like there's going to be a lot of references to the World of Motion in this attraction. And I think it would be really cool. I think we were both talking about it. It'd be really cool. There's a lot of classic Epcot, Future World kind of references in this. If they make a ride that's kind of reflecting their past. And then if this goes over well, just do the same thing with Mission Space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that'd be really great. I don't think Epcot's entirely lost its identity like Hollywood Studios, just in the fact that they are still kind of keeping with the core brand, even if they're integrating IP in clunky ways. Unlike Hollywood Studios, that's just no longer a film studio, right? It's just a garage, like we've mentioned before. But I think this is going to be a good way to keep it grounded. I'm really glad that they weren't okay, in Kanto where Test Track is at, go, let's go,
yeah.
Because they could have easily done something like that if they wanted to.
Yep. Or something along the lines of they could have just found something to plug in there. I mean, they could even just done even Zootopia. I could even see them doing that. Or something similar to that. I'm glad they're doing this. I hope that this sparks more this does really well to show Disney that creative ideas like this still does work. Because again, kind of reading through articles here, it's the whole point of the attraction kind of theme is to have new scenes that highlight technology making our cars smarter and our lives more fun. That's what this says. It's a very interesting choice of words, but it's still kind of that future world. Like this is what cars is now in the future still, because even then, back then with 2.0 going on test track, it was like the future of cars. It's pretty dated. Future. It's a
Yeah.
very like dystopian looking future of cars, or like futuristic, like early late 2010s futuristic. Um, but this is going to go back to like this is what the future is going to be, which is what Epcot kind of was for, especially with the innovations building. Everything around was like this is going to be our future, and how we impact our future with is important, and how we treat
You
our
know the thing
Earth,
about
how we treat our technology, how we treat all that stuff is important. And so hopefully that will, like what Brett said, will enforce that theme, and that it won't just be um, a just like kind of like throwing it like, oh, here's what cars are doing nowadays. I'd like to see something where they kind of have a future as to like, well, this is what cars maybe could do in the future, and stuff like where
well,
old Epcot stuff.
one of the best things about Disney World, especially in its heyday, was the fact that like Walt's advice was to entertain first and then learn and then teach second. Um, it's just in the foundation DNA of Epcot. You learn about a
Yep.
lot of different cultures. You learn about technology, the future. It's a very poignant park, and they have Disney's lost that identity as they have gone to the future of like let's make just fun big attractions, which I get is going to make you more money, but like have this kind of be something where we do learn a bit more about ourselves and the world around us. I think there's a lot of cool potential here. You could introduce Sonic the Hedgehog in the ride. That'd be cool.
It's true because like it's not completely out of place because Sega used to have a booth.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's like okay, so add Sonic the Hedgehog in there, dude.
Yeah. I also think I would give them so many props and might literally openly cry if they played the Interventions theme in the queue or the ride.
Yeah,
That'd be so cool. Do stuff like that.
make this.
People would love
You have the
it.
chance to make this a nostalgic Epcot powerhouse here.
Can you imagine if you went into the first room and Buzzy was there?
That's crazy, dude. The Dream Finders in the next room.
Yeah.
It's like,
Just do it. Food rocks.
gosh,
When
it's
does it open?
um,
It's like in a few weeks, right?
what is?
Test track. It opens in like a few weeks, right?
Yeah, it's the 22nd of July.
Cool.
So about a month. So I'm real honestly pretty excited for it. Which is rare because I was just talking about a coworker about this. Is that I used to work for Disney. I was passionate about Disney before Disney parks were cool. Like in the last ever since we did the college program. After that, all of a sudden, I felt like after we went to the college program, just theme parks got huge, like again out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um,
It's because of us.
I guess
It's
so.
podcast.
Because for since middle school until almost the end of college, I was obsessed with Disney theme parks and theme parks in general, and everyone kind of was like, that was weird. Why are you really obsessed with theme parks, really? You know what I mean? It's like, that's just,
Yeah.
it's a fun thing to do, but why is that your passion or whatever? And I was kind of viewed as weird. But nowadays, it's just normal place. So, it's like, I'm excited because this is, something that reminds me of what I would be excited for as a kid or younger. Because, again, this is Disney doing its own thing here. You can't experience this anywhere else. You can't go home and watch this on your TV. You can't.
Exactly.
You have to go in. It uses the theme park medium to its full potential because, again, theme parks are mediums. Making a ride like Frozen. I always bring up Frozen because it's the prime example of cut and paste. We need an IP in this. Slams it in. It's literally just the movie, the ride.
Yeah.
That doesn't use a theme park medium to its potential because it's just like I can go watch Frozen at home. All this does is it gives it it makes it 3D, which is great. But at the same time, you create something completely new where you can only be at Walt Disney World, at Epcot, at Test Track 3.0 to ever experience that. That's the only place you can do it ever.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of makes those things unique. If I wanted to go have Frozen content, I could go on YouTube and look at Elsa Gate for 10 hours straight. But, like, I don't need to go. I have no reason to go to ride the Frozen ride when there's no extra value there. There's different for things like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything, because that's like an extended story you can only get. You know what I mean? But Frozen's literally just Frozen. Mm-hmm. Or, like, Tiana's is,
it's
like...
kind of even not, because it sets up and it's like, welcome to our festival, and then they just all sing the songs from Frozen, and then it ends, and you're like, okay, what happened?
Why does the snow giant attack you? Like, you know what I mean? Are you a threat? Like, you know what I mean? And then,
what is happening?
And then, like, with Tiana's, I'm not saying I haven't been on it, so I'm not going to say it's bad or good, but, like, from what I hear, the story really doesn't do anything different. It's just kind of...
It's better than Frozen.
Is it different enough to where it's like, this is a solid thing that I need to go to this park to go ride this?
You know, I would actually say so, but people might disagree with me.
I don't know.
It doesn't have any of the dramatic tension of Splash Mountain.
I think that's what I'm going to miss if I ever go on it, would be like, Splash Mountain was like an introductory thrill ride.
Yeah.
It did really well with a lot of things, but I'm not going to go on my Splash Mountain thing. That was my favorite ride, but it's okay. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been changed, but it's just sad to see it still gone. But
I mean, at least Tiana's has like amazing animatronics.
Yes, I will say that. I will see that they have pretty good animatronics. They tried.
There's a really nice aesthetic to it. There's not even really an aesthetic to the Frozen ride.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. You're right.
It doesn't feel like anything, honestly. But,
that's true. So trying to think of anything else I kind of wanted to mention. Oh, if you had to think, what... They're obviously not going to have their custom car design anymore. Unless they somehow do, I don't think that's going to be a thing. Because it just kind of holds up the line. You know what I mean? The custom car thing. I love it. It's very Epcot. That's one thing I love about 2.0. It's so Epcot, and it's rewritability, right? The talk about rewritability and how if you rewrite it, how it's going to be different. That's cool. It's a gamification, which I love games. It's a gamification of rides that's not obtrusive to the actual ride experience, other than the line. Like, for example, gamifications that I don't think work the best are going to be like Smuggler's Run. It's great. Yeah. Like, it's really immersive. And if you have a crew of 6 that you all know and you all work together, prime Star Wars experience. If you're with random people who don't know what the heck they're doing and you just crash for like 5 minutes straight or 2 minutes straight, it's not good.
And then
because
2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Gamification needs to be somewhere where it's like it's enough to where you can have your own custom experience, but enough to where it's streamlined that no one else's experience can affect yours. It's a weird separation. So I don't know if they're going to keep the customized car thing as they did. I don't think so. Probably not. But maybe they can do something else similar to it. Maybe they can do something where like you can customize it out of the line, and then you can just scan it in so that doesn't affect your weight. I don't know.
Yeah. They'll probably end up doing something like that. I think so.
If they keep it. I don't know if they might just get rid of it in total. I don't know. Which I could easily see. That's fine. I mean, it wasn't like an identity of Test Track all the time, so it was neat because you didn't have anything like that.
My thing, Epcot. Mm-hmm. Just make a weird, unique little IP character. I mean, not IP character, original character.
Yeah.
Make it a unique little original character to introduce you to the ride. Make them cute. Sell merch of them after the ride's over. Have your next Figment. You can be a little lizard boy. I don't care. That'd be pretty cool.
I think it should be a cute little crash dummy for like Test Track 1.1 or 1.0 reference.
Yeah.
It should be a little crash dummy.
Like that.
Something like that where it's like they're not going to do that.
They should, though.
They should. They absolutely should. But that's like a Disney like, no, we don't want to do that. We'll put in, who's going to be there? Merlin from the Black Cauldron or whatever.
Merlin from Sword in the Stone?
Or Sword in the Stone, I mean, not Black Cauldron.
Yeah. Okay, I will, we're going to get into this. But Epic Universe?
Yep.
there's an original character.
That's cool.
I was like, good job, Universal. Good job, Epic Universe. You're doing what Disney used to do.
Yeah. I guess we can honestly finish up with Test Track here. There's nothing else much to say other than just the video they posted on their social media about their new light system that's supposed to act like. Let me read this here. I want to get this right. Now vehicles can use advanced cameras and sensors to see the world they drive through.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that is like an explanation on how almost self-driving cars work. Which it's exactly what we're talking about. Like, entertain first, learn second. But like learn here is still obviously the a focal point.
Yeah.
Which is great. But other than that, is there anything else you want to talk about? That's pretty much it. We know very little, but it's coming up. It's exciting stuff.
It's gonna roll. I hope it rolls.
Yeah.
Please don't let us down, Disney.
If this actually hits really well, then I will have I will gain some respect back for Disney because they took the time to come up with something creative and completely new. So.
And then also, if Disney puts Muppet Vision where the villain show is at, please.
Yeah, so actually, as we can talk about that, I read a couple articles saying that Disney was in plans of doing that, which, Brett, I'm not saying this is true. It's just theories or, just word around the street. But Brett was right.
Yeah, since our last podcast, Muppet Vision closed. I went to its final day. All right. I saw it like 7 times in the same day. I was in the second to last showing ever for the public. It was like one of the coolest days I've ever had in a theme park, for sure. Because it was just like a celebration of this thing that everyone loved. Like, it was unlike anything I've ever seen, honestly. Just like so many people here kind of just giving their... It felt like a funeral, but like not sad. I mean, people were bummed, but like people were just celebrating the fact that this thing had lasted for 34 years and had meant so much to so many people. And I've never been to like a last day of a theme park attraction thing before like this. From what I've read and what I've heard from other people who have been to several of them, they've never seen the turnout before for something like this ever. Like there was not this big a fanfare for like a Bug's Life closing at Animal Kingdom or anything like that. Like people were definitely pumping up Great Movie Ride, but like it was different with this. Like people came out from everywhere to go see this thing for the last time. So I do think that Disney definitely is listening right now. And that's what you got to do. I think as consumers and as people, if something really means a lot to you, and you can afford it, like make your voice heard. Mm-hmm. Show up, go to the thing, and like I'm not going to give Disney a whole lot of credit, but let's just say that one day did you open up Muppet Vision where that villain show is at. Okay? When that thing opens up day one, people are going to be rushing to go see it again. It's going to be the same crowd. They're going to be like, okay, we're so back. And then there's going to be new interest in that attraction than there hasn't been for 10 to 15 years. Because people would skip Muppet Vision a lot when they were in Hollywood studios. It would be like, oh, we can get to it. Mm-hmm. And this is my call for you guys. Even the little attractions. If you love them and you don't want them going anywhere, go to them. That's how you can make your voice heard. Go on Living at the Land. Go on Spaceship Earth. Go on Carousel of Progress. Because if people aren't showing up to these things, they're going to be on the chopping block. And I think this is going to be a lesson for the Disney consumer to be like, all right, let's not take the things that we love for granted when we're here. But...
sorry.
I
was going to say, also... do that to the things you absolutely love that are like core to you. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of Disney fans that have the love for Misplaced just generally in the company as a whole. And so, for example, Splash Mountain. That was going to be changed other anyways. There's no way of saving that. If I could have been there last day, I would. Um, but I know there are a lot of people that will accept Disney for anything they do. Make sure you stay critical of who of your companies,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's you want to see them do better, and so that's what with Muppet Vision that was huge. Fans were like, "This is means a lot to us. Why did you take this away?" They show up.
Yeah.
Disney's like, "Oh crap, we could it's not the this really meant a lot to this. It's if we reopen this, we'll make a lot of money."
Yeah.
It's that mentality. It's sad, but that's that mentality.
Mm-hmm. No, they're a corporate business company. Corporate business companies don't have value. I'm going to say it as abruptly as that. And to be honest with you, I do think that the 90s, 2000s era for Disney was better because at least Michael Eisner was a creative type. He was certainly in the process of making money, but the ways he was making money was to make really weird and unique attractions that people would go on. And Iger's way of making money is, let's buy the thing that's the most popular right now.
It's the most streamlined businessman move.
Most popular thing. Yeah, let's buy Star Wars because Star Wars is the most popular thing. And it's made Disney, which felt like kind of just this vibrant, fun studio that was for all ages, that was like a safe spot for people, feel more like a corporate entity, like Warner Bros. Did anything in this era. And I think I've said this, and I'll continue to say it. Not just Muppet Vision closing. That's a big thing. It's going to be a huge thing. But other decisions within the last few years, in my opinion, has completely tarnished Bob Iger's reputation as a Disney CEO. He'll go down as one of the worst. He will. And I think whoever they get in next has to do a lot of damage control because what Iger forgot about was brand integrity. He's making a company that slowly doesn't feel like Disney anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so whoever they get next has to be like, okay, not only are we in the process of making money because we are a corporate business, but we're also in the process of you guys trusting us as a company again.
Mm-hmm.
And releasing content where you guys are like, oh, okay, I can trust that. Because at some point, you're going to get more Snow Whites.
Yeah.
You're going to continue to get Snow Whites, which on paper feel like they should print money, and they don't because people don't show up because they're not resonating with the content. Even something like Lilo and Stitch, which did really well, if you go to week-by-week basis on the way that movie's been doing in the box office, it had a significant drop down from its opening weekend. Like, from the way it was tracking, people were like, okay, cool, this thing's going to make $1 billion. Now it probably won't. Because it just feels like after that opening weekend, people kind of went, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now How to Train Your Dragon's out, and people are kind of like really enthusiastic about that movie.
Yeah.
In a way that they weren't about Lilo and Stitch.
And I think a big reason because of that is Universal never really was in the. I mean, I don't know, maybe not, but not obviously in the business of doing a whole bunch of live action remakes. They really.
Yeah, no, this is the first, and this one felt like How to Train Your Dragon, live action remake, which I have seen, by the way. I mean, that would be the most shocking thing.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna get to it.
I was like, yeah, I haven't seen the live action How to Train Your Dragon remake. People would be like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Brett? You haven't seen the live action remake of How to Train." Anyways, but I think, and this is for better or for worse, that movie is so the same movie in every single regard that people are walking out of it with the same feeling they had watching How to Train Your Dragon because it's the same movie.
Right.
It feels like an HD remaster.
Gotcha.
Like you do a video game.
Right.
Like it's the same thing.
Right.
And I've always said that one of my bigger movie going regrets in my life is not seeing the first How to Train Your Dragon in IMAX. I've seen the first How to Train Your Dragon probably more times than I've seen The Sun. Like it was a big movie for me. It was a very important movie for me. But like I saw it at my dollar theater when I was like 13, and it like kind of changed my life. Um, and so going into the live action How to Train Your Dragon, I went to the opening fan event on the IMAX screen. Um, and it was like, oh, I finally got to see this thing that I love in the IMAX, and that was like something that was like important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave me that emotional experience that I needed. And so like there's just like I've been rattling in my brain about it for a while because I'm like, is it the same movie and do I love that? It is the same movie and I don't know if that's great for Hollywood, but at the same time like I loved it. I
Right.
loved watching it, you know? So I can't like and it's interesting and it's something where at one point I want to do a dichotomy on it. Um Something like Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio, which is just like a terrible movie in
Right.
every conceivable way. Follows the same plot as Pinocchio, pretty much to a T, but misunderstands what Pinocchio is about, what it means, and the feeling of the original cartoon. Just completely botches all of that, even though it pretty much follows the same story. And a lot of Disney movies do that. How to Train Your Dragon understands what that movie is and what those characters
Yeah.
are and the way it's supposed to make you feel at the end. And I think the biggest component for that is just because the original director came back because he was like, no one's going to mess with my baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is cool. But you see, the enthusiasm for that movie is way more intense than Lilo and Stitch. Even if it didn't do as well opening weekend, people coming out of that thing are like talking about like it's the best thing they've ever seen. Like I'm telling you, people are walking out of that movie like it was Top Gun Maverick. Like it's getting high audience rating. I think right now it has like a 98% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's huge.
Gotcha.
And good for Universal. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that's a good segue into Epic, right?
Epic. We'll talk more about dragons too.
Yeah.
In a second. So I got to go to Epic Universe while I was down there for Muppet Vision. Oh, and aside, actually, no, we'll get into that. There was something I actually wanted to bring up. I went on a tangent. There's
Okay.
something I wanted to bring up about the villain show that actually does a good segue to the stuff I'm going to be talking about in Epic about the villain show. Because I saw the villain show, and oh boy, I'll get into it.
Okay.
So, Epic. This had been hyped up for me as like, Brett, you don't understand. They changed the game. This is the greatest theme park of all time. I was like, whoa, all right, calm down there, Buster. I'm sure it'll be cool, but I don't know if it'll be the greatest theme park of all time.
Uh-huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, it might be one of the greatest theme parks of all time.
That's good.
It is by far and away the best theme park Universal has. I've thought about this a lot within the last few weeks. I think the only Disney theme park I like more is probably Epcot.
Right.
I think it probably ranks number 2 for me. And, you know, Kevin and I, we've both been going to these parks forever. So there's a lot of nostalgia and brand and memories within all these parks. So for me to go into a theme park for the first time and to kind of be like, yeah, no, it might be my second favorite theme park I've ever been to, should probably show just like how impressive it is. But it's everything that Kevin and I have been asking for. That's why I want to talk about it on this episode. It's literally everything we've been asking for. You step in to Celestial Park, and it's an original property. There is a restaurant, an Atlantis restaurant, that's themed to Atlantis. There's fish dangling off of like the ceiling and they're floating. There's a beautiful architecture, and there is no specific character or brand or IP in here. It's literally just a work of art. You walk in and it looks like a work of art, and that's what it is. And it's just like they built it because it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. I really miss when Disney would do stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gives you so much personality. Because, again, kind of what we were talking about before, you can't see anything like that anywhere else. You can only see it there at Epic Universe. I didn't go eat there because it was, like, super expensive, but I walked in and looked around and was like, this is cool. Like, this is amazing.
Right.
Then Celestial Park has a mascot. An OG original character named the Caco Bear. I think that's his name. He's a little sailor bear. And he's
cute.
adorable. Yeah, he's so cute. You should look him up. He's so cute. He's just like this little teddy bear, and he's like this little sailor guy, and he floats on a ship in the gift shop, and he
Aw,
has merch exclusively to him.
that's cute.
Yeah, he's great, and it's like, okay, cool. This is something else we've been asking Disney to do. Give us some original characters that you can only see in the
Yep.
park. Then we go to the carousel. I didn't get to ride the carousel this time because it was having some issues, but I saw it in action. It's the coolest carousel I've ever seen. Like, it lights up. The music that plays in it is like swelling and orchestral and just so just awe-inspiring. And then the ride in that part of the park is Stardust Racers,
Right?
which, Kevin, I kid you not, might be the single most intense ride I've ever ridden.
Really?
It, and maybe a
For
part
Universal
of it was,
standards?
uh?
I was
Maybe
like, I don't
just-
know, Velocicoaster still kind of gets me after I go on it.
So, Velocicoaster, I don't. Here's the thing. I might think Stardust Racers is more intense.
Really?
And maybe it's because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
Looking at it on the outside, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a pretty fun coaster," but I
Right.
wasn't thinking anything of it. When I walked in, you had to go through a metal detector, and I went, "Oh, okay, well,
It's
that
just-
usually
yeah.
means it's going to be a little more intense than you think it is."
Yeah.
The thing runs a lot like the Dueling Dragons ride
Right.
that used to be there. But it's faster than that ride, significantly faster than that ride. And for me, the other people on the cart get so close to you that, like, I was ducking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and of course, like, they can't hit you or anything.
Right.
But, like, the part of me was like, man, if their shoe's even loose and it falls off, like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I mean, your feet aren't dangling. There is something behind your feet. So hopefully that would help it.
Uh-huh.
But, like, still, I'm like, if the pressure's just enough for it to fly somewhere, they probably figure that out. They're Imagineer types. They
Yeah.
probably know that's not going to happen. That's why it's running. But
Yeah.
the illusion of you getting struck by the other car is so well done that I was in fight or flight for, like, 2 minutes. This ride's also long.
Yeah.
It's like 2 minutes long. There's a point where there's a stopping point, and I went, okay, cool, we're done. That was kind of crazy. And then it goes on, and there's another half of the ride.
Oh my gosh.
You stop, and it just blasts you off again. I was like, oh, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a great coaster. Really solid. It's not my favorite in the park, just because there's some amazing rides that we're about to get into. But good ride. Good ride. So, for sections, I guess first we'll start with Nintendo World, because you've kind of also been to a version of Nintendo
Yeah.
World, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I was not able to ride the minecart ride, which is a bummer. I'm hoping
It's been having issues. I hear that from a lot of people. It might be just the new technology with the double track thing.
I think so. It was down for most of the day, and by the time it went back up, it was like a 140-minute wait, and I was like, I can't. But
Yeah.
number one, I am nostalgic for Nintendo. I love Nintendo. Nintendo, I'm not like an expert on it, like you
Right.
are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do love it. Like, I can name the characters.
Yeah.
I can name some. I was even explaining to my dad like the different Donkey Kong characters.
Yeah.
Hey, this this store's based off of Funky Kong from
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country, and he was like, "What are you talking about?"
I love Funky Kong, dude. I want to go there.
It's so
I kind of want to go on a tangent for a minute because it's my time. Because like, oh, it's the only thing I'll know about Epic.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So this is a really, really funny thing because now we're in a time change in Nintendo because of Switch 2 launch. DK is doing a whole new rebranding.
Yeah,
Whole new rebranding. He has a new model. He has new renders. He has a whole new feeling to him right now. He's a lot more animated. He's less grumpy, less like, I don't know how to put it. They're doing a whole thing. All of DK or the Donkey Kong Country is in the old one, like in the
Yeah.
old model of him. And so they made this theme park way in advance, right? And so now we're doing this time change. So this is already going to be dated. This is already going to
in a
be
way
dated.
that's going to be charming. I'm not
It is
gonna
going to
lie.
be charming. It's just it's
Yeah.
interesting that they did this and then was like, I guess this is the last hurrah of old Rareware DK design and going on with this new this new idea for DK with DK
Yeah.
Bonanza coming out next month, which is absolutely amazing looking. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it
I'm not
looks
gonna lie.
great. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I need to drop $700 on the Switch?
DK so like Mario Kart World, I could not argue to buying a Switch 2. If no one did not want to buy it for Mario Kart World, I would have been like, okay, yeah, you don't really need to. Mario Kart World's great, but it's not a system seller. I'd argue the DK Bonanza is a system seller. Looking at it and looking at its personality, looking at its gameplay, looking at everything, it looks absolutely amazing. And this is what I'm like, okay, Nintendo, you kind of... I was hesitant because of everything that's going on with your company, but that right there, I was like, okay, that's worth it. Right there, that's worth the $70 price tag. It looks really, fun. Really freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, if I have some extra income, I'm gonna consider it.
It's really, really good looking, and so I'm excited for that. But DK, Donkey Kong Country, it looks absolutely amazing. At least the theming, the food, I'm glad they have Cranky Kong, they have Funky Kong, they have Rambi, they have DK obviously.
There's so much Diddy Kong merch too.
Yeah, Diddy Kong. Like it's. I'm glad that Donkey Kong is having its own identity again. It's weird. Donkey Kong goes on and off because it's weird. It's like almost a side thing of Mario, but it's also its own thing. Very similar like Luigi's Mansion, or so. Yeah. It's a side thing, but it's also part of the main thing. Is that it dies and comes back, dies and comes back, dies and comes back all the time, and now it's coming back because the last Donkey Kong game that we got like mainline like Donkey Kong Country was like Donkey Kong Country or Tropical Freeze, which was like in 2014.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of died off.
I played the original N64 one all the way through.
Donkey Kong 64. I love that game. And this new Donkey Kong Bonanza game is the next 3D one since Donkey Kong 64. Like it's been years, and so it's exciting. And so Donkey Kong is getting this whole new big brand. So I argue that if this Donkey Kong Bonanza does absolutely amazing, because I know it's going to, and sales wise, Donkey Kong's going to now be its own thing. It's going to be up next to Mario, because right now the big four for Nintendo is Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, and Animal Crossing. Those are the four big things they show are their big four right now. Which is
I do feel like Splatoon's kind of falling out of.
It is in the U.S. Japan is the biggest thing ever. It's huge. Splatoon is like, I don't know. It's something different in Japan. It's actually huge.
No, I think making Splatoon a theme park attraction would be a slam dunk.
It would be. It'd be interesting. Yeah. I have my ideas for Splatoon as a theme park. I have a lot of ideas for it.
I was a Splatoon player for a bit. I played Splatoon 2 a lot.
It's Nintendo's a newer IP out of the bunch. I mean, they've tried to create newer IP out of recent years, and it's off and on with what they're doing with it. But it's something newer, I guess. But Donkey Kong Country, going back to Epic, I've been to Super Nintendo World over in Hollywood, and it's pretty much the same thing over in Epic, except they have the Yoshi ride that Hollywood doesn't. Yeah. Mario Kart is a great attraction. I think it's really fun, really colorful. The AR is iffy.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest with you, that ride was undersold for me. That's what I'll say, because everyone kept telling me, the Mario Kart ride, it's okay. It's really fun. It's cool. I love the queue line.
Yeah, I was going to say, the queue is my absolute favorite thing. When I was in California, we waited. It wasn't honestly a long wait for us, but I would purposely let people cut in front of me so that I could stay in the library, because every single book had a reference to something, like, of a game.
Funny.
And I would just stare and look at everything.
Like, a step-by-step guide for sibling rivalries or something like that.
Yeah.
There's, like, really silly little references like that to it. It's really cute.
Like, it's stuff like that, or, like, there's, like, a guide to, I'm trying to think of something where it's just
guide
like...
bomb-bombs. I know there was one that was, like, how to throw a bomb-bomb or something.
Yeah, there's one that's, like, it's, like, a travel book for Isle Delfino from Mario Sunshine, and stuff like that, or like if you really look at all of them, there's a reference to almost every single freaking Mario game in there. And so I will not Mario or Super Nintendo World is one of the best themed areas that I've ever been in.
100%.
That's
what I was getting to.
Themed to the nines.
Is again, my parents are very like, they know Nintendo, but they're not like, they didn't grow up with it like we did, right?
Right.
So I kind of step in, and it's like almost an emotional reaction, because it's like, oh wow, There's a lot going on here, and it's really cool. I mean, it's massive. It's overwhelmingly just so detailed. The amount of animatronics in a single area too.
Yeah. And they're
So
constantly running too. I mean, you can constantly. You don't have to go on a ride to see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just there.
But my parents, who have kind of little references to Mario, but I still had to explain stuff to them, walked in and they both went, "Oh my gosh," like that,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just overwhelmingly cool. For me, it is exactly what Universal was trying to do with the Dr. Seuss land and failed to.
Yeah.
I mean, and we talk about Kevin and I talked a lot off of the podcast about wacky Pomo vibes,
Yeah.
big bright colors,
Yeah.
weird characters,
Curvy design. Like,
stuff.
it's not just corporate. You know what I mean? It's very. That's wacky Pomo's wacky promotion. So, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like old Disney stores,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon in the '90s. Like
Wacky
very
Peace Model stuff.
wacky stuff.
Exactly. So for me, outside of Meow Wolf, which is just entirely wacky Pomo, like that's their aesthetic.
Yeah.
This is the most wacky Pomo area I've been to in years.
Yep.
In literally years.
Yep.
Everything's goofy, everything's colorful, everything's over exaggerated to the nines.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about if I was an 8-year-old child, like this is where I'd want to live for the rest of my life.
Yep. It's. I walked in there and I just like. I'm just so glad because this is what Universal has been doing that I think is a better option than Disney is. Instead of buying them out and doing what they want with it, they're working with their respective creators. Shigeru Miyamoto was very, very in on everything that was going on, and so because Disney was trying to buy out when whatever her name is, tried to do Harry Potter and Disney a while ago. What's her name?
Oh, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. She went to Disney and they said, "Oh, well, if we buy it, we want to do what we want with it." But then they went to Universal and they would actually work with her. And
you know the specific reason why she said no?
Why?
You know how the Hogwarts Express travels between both parks?
Uh huh.
She wanted to do that at Disney. So she wanted to build a Harry Potter world in Magic Kingdom and have the train take you to Epcot. And they're like, Magic Kingdom's on an island. Like, we logistically can't do that. Like, it doesn't exist. And she was like, well, if you don't do that, I'm out. And they were like, well, sorry, we literally can't.
Right.
And it's just, I love Harry Potter. I don't like J.K. Rowling. I think she's a little pompous and problematic. But that's neither here. That's not what our podcast is about.
Right.
But it is weird. It's interesting. But it's true. Universal just said, here's your money. And Harry Potter World is what saved that park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But I can't wait to. That's probably the first thing I'm going to go into when I go to Super Nintendo or when I go to Epic, because I will go back there. Because I also went to. You didn't get to eat in Toadstool Cafe, but that experience alone is like. It's the best place I've ever eaten at Universal.
Yeah, I wanted to. I'll get into the food that I had there, because I had 10 out of 10 food at Epic.
Yeah. It was. It not only was tasted good, but the theming was. It was so good. I don't know how to put it. It's just that was the. I don't know. It was peak. I don't know how to put it. It was good. I do think that the Donkey Kong Country ride. I think it's really cool. I was overhyped for it. When I saw the whole ride POVs and everything, it's okay.
It was fun.
I was hoping for a lot more theming with it, instead of it just kind of being a roller coaster and it being kind of, I don't know. It's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad ride. I haven't been on it personally, but I was hoping it to match the rest of the park where everything is absolutely themed down 100%. The ride is like 60 to 70%. There's times where like you can see a lot of like black dark areas that have like just sets, and you can see like light sets, and you can see all that stuff, and it just feels a little off. But
it reminds me of Matterhorn and bobsleds a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like
in
comparison to everything around it, especially the Mario Kart ride, I was like, this seems a little off. To me, that's like Mario Kart. Yeah. But
yeah, I agree with you with the Mario Kart thing. I think the AR thing needs work.
It does need work.
But it also feels like it is the first of something. You know what I mean? Like, I think in 20 years they're gonna have a ride that has that same mechanic to it. And we're gonna be like, this is the most mind blowing thing I've ever seen. It really feels like they're testing it.
Yep.
But to be fair with Mario Kart, a part of me almost wanted to take my AR goggles off at one point and just look at the sets because it was beautiful to look at.
I'm glad they didn't rely on the AR. I thought when they said they were doing AR stuff, I was like, oh, everything's going to be AR and it's just going to be rooms. But no, they filled them. And it's just it mixes well.
And let me tell you, if you're someone that gets high, don't do that before you go on that. Because I feel like you might actually crash out.
It's crazy.
It's disorienting, dude. I was just like, what is happening right now?
I like Mario Kart a lot. I need to go on the minecart ride. I just know when you tell a Nintendo fan, especially a Donkey Kong Nintendo fan, that you're getting a railway roller coaster of Donkey Kong and it jumps off the track, expectations go up here. Because
for sure.
That's huge. And so when it comes out and it's just looks fine, it's like, oh, okay. So
I did go on the Yoshi ride.
Looks cute.
Yoshi's Adventure.
I don't know. Looks cute.
It's really cute. It's one of the lesser rides I went on for the day, obviously. But you know the Dr. Seuss train ride that is like terrible.
Yeah.
That we make fun of. It's like if they made that, but it was actually fun.
Right.
There's not much to it whatsoever. If there is an hour wait for this thing, please, for the love, do not wait in that line. You're going to feel like everything was robbed from you. If you can walk on for about 15-20 minutes, it's totally delightful. The animatronics are astoundingly beautiful. I mean, just all the Yoshis are so cute. There's a ride mechanism where you're supposed to touch the eggs and then it plays you a song. I'm not going to lie, they explained it to me before the ride. I don't know what it meant. I don't know if I even did it. I was so confused. I've talked to other people who have been, and they've all agreed. They went, I don't know what happened.
That's funny.
But it's fun. It has a lot of fun Yoshi's Island references, if you're a fan of that game. Yep. Baby Mario animatronic is in a part of it.
That's I know, fun. I saw that. It looks great.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Baby Mario.
It's just wholesome. Wholesome, good stuff. It's like Universal's people mover.
I'm glad it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
We're getting to about 50 minutes, so we can start like going faster, I guess. I don't know. There's been a lot more time than I thought.
Well, yeah, no, there's a lot to explain here. There's a lot to explain here.
We can move on from Nintendo to we can go somewhere else if you'd like. Next thing I know about is Monsters.
Yeah. Wait, this on the Nintendo side, just one second. There's something I wanted to say about Yoshi. No, it was tying back to the what we've been talking about. We talked about cooldown areas for theme parks and how everything doesn't need to be a tentpole thing.
Yep.
The Yoshi ride, perfect example of that. It's a cooldown ride. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
See, next up, I'm gonna do this in order of like me gushing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit the Harry Potter section next.
Okay.
Harry Potter section, beautiful to look at, sprawling in scope. I mean, whenever you step into the area, it is just so immersive. Something they've done so well. And the thing that Epic has done really well, which I hope they continue to do, is they've lessened capacity for people going into the park, so you can actually breathe and walk around. You're not the shoulder-to-shoulder people. Once again, something else we've been asking Disney to do. Like, it was awesome that I could just like wait for like 30 minutes for these rides that have opened up just a few weeks ago that are amazing. Because it's a good time. Like, it's just not, you're not just waiting in line all day for these attractions. So it was really nice because the Harry Potter section, you're able to walk around and breathe. Can you ever do that in the other two Harry Potter sections? No. Nope, not at all. But this is the biggest Harry Potter section. It's sprawling. It's beautiful to look at. It's the one I have the least amount to say because it's another Harry Potter section, but they completely knocked it out of the park. The ride there, Battle of the Ministry, is what is considered to be like, this is the thing that's going to top Rise of Resistance. This is all of our technology. This ride is completely overhyped. I would say it right here, right now, completely overhyped. I think Forbidden Journey and Hagrid's are significantly better rides. I like it more than Gringotts for
Gotcha.
sure. But this ride's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of screens in it, but the screens are utilized the best I've ever seen screens utilized in a ride like this. It's encompassing to the point where you cannot tell where the screen begins and ends.
Gotcha.
I even looked. So it's really cool in that regard. Like, it is massive in scale. There is one of the best animatronics I've ever seen in a theme park attraction in this ride as well. There's a giant monster that comes through, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. It's like the King Kong animatronic
That's
to the
cool.
max. The scale of this thing is crazy. And for that, it is a good ride. It's a very good ride. As a ride mechanic, you're just kind of seeing Umbridge get imprisoned and then it ends.
Right.
You know, like, you're like, all right, cool. There's rides in this park that are significantly better than this for the fraction of the wait time that we'll get into. So that's just my opinion on Battle of the Ministry. I know people who are like, this is my favorite ride ever made.
That's
I don't
probably the
get
big
it.
Harry Potter nerds that like it's like my Nintendo world because you could say argue like with Nintendo like
Yeah,
it's if you are a Nintendo fan you're gonna absolutely think that's the best thing ever in the park, but if you're not you're just gonna be like okay.
which is totally fair.
Yeah.
But I, as someone who is a Harry Potter fan, I mean,
Right.
and it's not me saying that it's like a bad attraction whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me saying that, like, people who are hyping it up as a 10, it's not a 10. it's
Right.
like an 8. It's like a 7 or an 8. Like, it's good. The thing that I was blown away by that is borderline 10 in this park is a stage show. My friend Danny from Muppets, shout out to Danny. They do watch this occasionally, I think. This is where they work now.
Oh, gotcha.
So they were very much like, you need to go watch the show that I work at. And I was like, okay, cool, because this was not on my radar. But it's a Fantastic Beasts stage show.
Oh, gotcha.
And, you know, I'm not a fan of Fantastic Beasts whatsoever. But going into it, this is the best stage show I've ever seen in any theme park.
Wow.
The puppetry in this thing is astounding. There was some of the massive scale of the puppets coming into the scene. I could not believe they even could fit it in the building.
Wow.
The music is immaculate. The story actually makes you feel things. This is 20-minute theater that made me feel more things than 3 Fantastic Beasts movies.
That's cool.
And it's all set up like a circus. So you go in and it's set up like you're going to go see a circus show, and then it turns into something else.
Gotcha.
So it's themed to the max.
Cool.
This is how I'm going to tie it into the villain show at Hollywood Studios. All peace and love to the actors in the villain show who are killing it. The villain show at Disney is maybe the most pathetic thing they've made in a long time. It's, I mean, I'm putting it in stars. Terrible. I couldn't believe it. I saw it on the last day I saw Muppets because I was like, this is a new thing that I've never seen before. Let me go check it out. And like, me and my friend saw it. Our mouths dropped by how bad it was.
I haven't watched it.
The whole concept is 3 villains come out and they're pretty much like, pity us. We're misunderstood. And then at the end, you have to applaud for which one is the most misunderstood. And then whoever wins gets the final musical number, and then you leave.
So Lightning McQueen was better?
It's not far off. I kid you not, it's not far off.
That's funny.
And it's funny because they're like, okay, that Lightning McQueen thing didn't work, so we're going to make something that really works. So it's like, no. The screen technology in this thing looks like 2005. I kid you not, it's already dated. It came out a month ago. Like, it's so corny. It's so corny to look at. It just seems like they swapped it together in 3 months because I really feel like they did. Which is why I have all hope in the world that they'll bring Muppet Vision into that building. Because, like, I was reading online afterwards because I was like, there's no way people like this, right? And everyone's in agreement that it's, like, pretty pathetic.
Right.
So, there you go. But meanwhile, Universal's making the best stage show I've ever seen in a theme park.
Right.
So, like, cool. Next up. Now we got that covered.
Yep.
We'll go over to Universal Monsters area.
Yep.
This is one of the best themed lands I've ever been to in any theme park.
I'm excited for that one. That's my second most hyped thing. Honestly, almost
Yeah.
might be one because I've already been to Super Nintendo World, but it looks really, really good.
Number one, and a cool thing about this area is while it is based off of Universal Monsters, they have built their own lore around it. So it feels like a unique experience, even outside of if you know anything about the Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
The taverns and the bars look so much like those classic 30s movies. It's great. I actually went to go eat there. I went to I think it was called the Grilled Steak or something like that. Got a kebab. It was delicious. It's one of the
That's
best
funny.
things I've
It's a
ever had at
kebab because it's a
Universal.
wooden steak.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
That's fun.
the actors walking around
Yeah,
on
I've seen.
stage.
It almost kind of looks like a light, like Halloween Horror Nights. You know, like really light,
Yeah,
but like
total.
it's for everyone. So like that's really cool.
Yeah, there's like an actor dressed up as an invisible man. They'll just walk up to you and roast you and your family
I
and
saw
leave.
that. I saw that when someone was like, get like someone was recording him, and he's like, it was like get up at her face. It's like, why are you recording me? Stuff like that. Like almost struggling with.
It's so
Very
funny.
like you can't say we can't you like they can't say this at Disney type
No,
stuff.
dude, you'd get a reprimand
Yeah,
if you were acting like the Invisible Man here at Disney. Like you would. Like he comes up to you and he just straight up roasts you and leaves. It's funny.
that's great.
It's great. But all the actors are like so in tune to their characters, and for me, it feels like what Galaxy's Edge was trying to do
Yeah,
with the themed integration.
right.
Where like, cause like the people at Galaxy's Edge, no offense to them, they do a great job, right?
Yeah.
But you see Ray, and then you take pictures with Ray, and Ray talks to you or whatever. It's a cool experience. These monsters want to stay away from you because they're monsters. Like they're
Yeah.
completely in character, which is cool. There's two rides in this one. The first one's Curse of the Werewolf, which we do not have to spend much time on. It is the most mid ride at Epic. Um, it is a complete waste of space, and I give it about 5 years until they decide to make it something else. There's not much to it. There's not much theming to it. You spin around for a little bit. It's a 45-second ride. You occasionally go into this hut and hear a werewolf go, "Arr!" That's about it. Some people I know are enjoying it more. I think it has the same ride technology as the Guardians ride or Time Traveler,
Right.
but just not nearly as fun.
Right.
just not even on the same level. It's just a very tiny ride. It kind of gives me Fly the Hippogriff vibes, but I honestly prefer Fly the Hippogriff.
Gotcha.
Because at least you get a cool animatronic in that ride.
Right.
So there you go. But we'll go into what I think might be the single greatest theme park attraction I've ever been on.
That's what I'm hearing.
Monsters Unleashed. This ride system is very similar to Forbidden Journey, but does like, and I'm a big Forbidden Journey person. That's like been a big ride for me throughout my life. This ride just improves on it in every way.
Gotcha.
The story is so concise and so clear to follow. If you're concerned about it being convoluted like Guardians, it's not.
Right.
You go in, it's very much explained to you what you're doing. You're going to go find Dracula. He's the final experiment you gotta go find. You're teaming up with Frankenstein. Boom,
That's
you're
cool.
good. Igor's controlling your ride system.
Igor's
crazy too.
Is the I know it's the daughter of Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
That's just cool. I don't know. I just like I said, it's not just Frankenstein himself. It's the daughter of Frankenstein. So it's like, it's interesting. Again, like I love its. I don't know. I love Frankenstein. I'm more of a fan of like the original novelization more than like the Universal creation of him. But
Yeah.
that's still so cool that Frankenstein has like his own theme park. I think that's just crazy.
It is
That's
crazy.
so cool.
And like that opening like pre-show when
Yeah.
he comes out as the animatronic, it's just like that's one of the best animatronics I've ever seen.
Because
It's-
I remember when we were so disappointed that the Monster Cafe restaurant was gonna be closed for Minions, and we were probably thinking they're probably gonna do something with it. They're probably gonna do something with it, and then they said, "Well, you want some monsters? We'll give you some," and created arguably the best section at Epic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
So-
mean, they built a whole ride with 3 different restaurants, so I guess we can
Yeah.
forgive them for
It's
that.
it's really cool. It's from what
Yeah.
I've seen. I'm glad that Universal is stepping up where Disney isn't. So
Yes. Yes. Um, if you complain about Universal using too much screen technology,
yeah, it's like now you
this
can't make
ride you're
that
gonna go on
argue.
and be like, oh, okay, they're just proving us that they can do this.
Well, you
I'm
can't
telling you,
argue that anymore because now Disney almost might be using more screens.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. This
But,
ride probably 80 to 90% animatronics, 10% screens.
right.
Literally, that's the comparison sake. Like, it is crazy how much of this thing is practically built. Um, the animatronics are gorgeous. You know, the first scene you see the Phantom playing and he like screams at you or whatever. Um, Once you figure out where everything's at, it's cool. But the first time you ride this, there are some definite jump scares.
Gotcha.
The moments where you go, "Whoa, all right." There is some gnarly violence in this that was really fun.
That's cool.
Um, there's a scene where the Wolfman bites down on somebody's head,
That's cool.
and then water squirts out at you, and it feels like it's blood.
That's cool.
I was like, "All right, Universal, this is metal. This is cool."
Cool.
Um, there is always a sense of tension. It never lets up with its theming. I mean, it's so fully integrative and
Right.
integrative,
And
innovative
and
in every way that a theme park attraction could be. Again, but to me, this is specifically the ride where I'm like, Kevin, I would pitch this.
yeah.
Like, the Forbidden Journey ride throughout the Universal Monsters thing, where you see all the monsters and the Wolfman tries to eat you, and then you see him bite down on some. Like, this seems like something we would pitch and be like, yeah, this could never happen, though, right?
Yeah. And they did it.
Like, it'd be too cool if this happened, and it did. Um, there's a sequence where Dracula is flying, and it's an animatronic, and it's massive, and he's just floating over you, and I don't know how they did it. I
That's cool.
genuinely cannot tell you how they did it, because I'm like, how is he flying? He's an animatronic. I have no idea.
That's cool.
Yeah. I genuinely like both. Like, I wrote it twice. I wish I would have written it more times, honestly, because it was like a 10 to 15 minute wait the whole day, which was awesome. Um, I was trying to figure out where it began and ended, and I cannot tell you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The Creature of the Black Lagoon, my favorite.
Yeah.
He comes in. He probably like he just comes out of nowhere. He just pops up on the floor and goes, "Rah!" And you're like, "Whoa, Creature, what up?" Um, Amazing ride. Literally a 10. Like a perfect ride. Would
I'm
not
excited
change
to
a thing
go
about
on
it.
it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying is now somebody has to take up the cryptid theme park. We gotta do that with but just like Mothman.
yeah,
Bigfoot.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. I was trying to think what's a theme park ride in recent memory that I've liked as much as the Monsters ride, and I'm like, dot dot dot. I
right.
really don't know. Because I think it might be a better ride than Rise of Resistance, to be honest.
I'd probably like it way more than Rise of Resistance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as like a ride integrative system, like it's a ride too. You know, like Rise is great, but like it's a lot of it's like the world building
Yeah.
and the scale. And this is just like a great ride as long as, and also having the scale. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, yeah, because I think I might even like it more than Flight of Passage. Like I'm trying to think of a ride. It's way up there. I think it's one of the best attractions anyone's ever made. Just straight up, it's perfect. Um, but we'll get into it. It's actually not my favorite attraction we're going to be talking about today.
Well, we
Which
can
is
scoot on to that now,
yeah,
I think, right?
yeah, absolutely. We're getting there.
Good, let's do it.
There's a lot to talk about. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I just
Okay.
want to make sure I'm not running out of time.
All right, cool.
We're at an hour.
So then we go to Burke, big giant Viking village. Now I've talked about it on this podcast, even talked about it earlier. I have a bias towards Burke because How to Train Your Dragon was a very big tentpole movie for me in my life, and this franchise has meant a lot to me. So it was one of these like, I love Pandora. I don't have an emotional attachment to Avatar.
Yeah, I don't think
I
anyone
love the
does.
Harry Potter section. I do have nostalgia for Harry Potter, but not in the same way I do for How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
Um, like How to Train Your Dragon, like I put it on the levels of like what E.T. and the Muppets meant for me as a kid too. Like it's
course.
kind of right there. So for them to make an entire world of it was overwhelming. I mean, the moment I stepped into it, I was just kind of like, oh, like, I was like, I need to live here. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. I will say, and again, this is I understand there's some personal bias here, but I've heard I'm not the only person with this opinion. This is the best themed area in any theme park I've ever been to.
Nice.
It's better than Pandora. It's better than Galaxy's Edge. It's better than like the other worlds, like the Harry Potter sections.
Yeah.
It is so hard to even feel like this place begins and ends anywhere. It's
Right.
so immersive. Everything is detailed to the nines. You walk through it, and there's so many animatronic dragons just hanging out.
Aw.
And it's so cool. And it's just like, it's a part of those things where it's like, I have no idea how they even did this. Again, like, so two of the rides I did skip because they were kind of unnecessary to go on. There's like a gliding ride, and you just kind of go up in the air and then back down.
Isn't that just it's just like almost a stationary, what do they call them? Like the stationary ride, right? That you just,
Yeah, it's like a carnival ride.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And then there's one that's like a water ride where there's water guns and
Right.
keeps you off
It's almost
each other.
like, and you just go and it's like a target practice or something, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And this is a section, like, out of all the sections, this is a section primarily built for kids.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
And, like, those rides are fun. They look cute.
Well, I'm
And they're
honestly
themed really well.
thinking about the ride with water is that it's doing something where like we haven't seen before, even though with a small ride. We've seen like Astro Blasters, but you've ever done that with water? Like, you know what I mean? It's like literally Disattractions. It's literally like,
Yeah.
what if we take Astro Blasters, but then just make it water?
Yeah. I will say that Solar City does have a ride similar to
gotcha.
it, so maybe that's why I wasn't like, oh, that's cool.
I haven't heard of
Um,
anything like
but
that. We make something
I
like the
don't
Chow
think
Garden
any-
like that, huh?
I don't think an Orlando park has done it, so.
Gotcha.
Well, the actually the one at Solar City is themed to Tom Sawyer. I kid you not.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, walking through the park, I mean, just everything is so beautiful. Unfortunately, I was not able to see the stage show because.
Oh,
of the
right. I
Dragon
heard that's really good.
Midday. It looks cool. What I've been hearing from friends is that outside of Hiccup and Toothless coming in and that being just an amazing set piece, the rest of the show is fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're like, it's pretty much just a retelling of How to Train Your Dragon, kind of in the way that the Frozen show is.
Gotcha.
But still, just to see that, I'd love to see it someday.
Yeah, you got 100% complete epic.
Exactly.
That'd be a good video.
I went on Hiccup's wing gliders.
Right? That's the big one.
Yeah, that's the big ride. And this is a roller coaster through Burke. And this enters the shortlist for me with the Muppet Visions and the ETs. As in, like I immediately just had a strong personal connection to this ride. I'm like, this thing is mine. You can't do anything to it, Universal. You have built it, and it's mine now.
Right.
Like, that's the type of reaction I had for it. This is, no exaggeration, the single greatest roller coaster I've ever been on. Point blank, period.
Nice.
This ride is themed as well as Expedition Everest. Like,
Gotcha.
that's the type of story, like, that's the type of level it's on.
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh.
And
We're going back.
as far as storytelling on a roller coaster, so seamless, so precise. Essentially, you go through, you're flying with Hiccup and Toothless. They attach the wings for you so you can go, and it's so funny because it's like, you go into this room, and there's like an animatronic Hiccup, and he's like cranking this bar for you, and he's putting the wings on your cart. And then there's Toothless, and he's like, all right, let's go. And you see him push down on this lever, and you shoot up in the air, and the music starts playing. And it feels like you're flying on a dragon. It's so smooth. It is one of the smoothest coasters I've been on. It's not too intense, but it's so thrilling. It's so fun. Like, I can just ride it over and over again. And the way that it's integrated with the music, it feels like you're flying on a dragon. When I first heard about the How to Train Your Dragon area, I was really hoping they would do a Flight of Passage type ride with dragons. And when they announced they weren't doing that, I was kind of like, oh, but you guys have it right there. This is good enough. Like, because, and a part of it is, it's not a screen. You're actually flying through Burke because they built Burke.
Right.
So it's awesome.
So,
Because you're just like, oh, I just feel like I'm here.
Yeah.
It's so, like...
If you're using a set, like, for example, if you're using set pieces, if you're creating something that is, like, Burke or whatever, don't let that go to waste. Yeah. You've created so much time in this area, and so instead of doing a ride where you're just looking at screens, use what you have.
Exactly.
It saves you money, and it saves you... It makes it a better ride.
Exactly, because you're there.
Yeah. It's
And
just yeah.
there's this one scene because it kind of is like Hagrid Jr. in a way.
Right. Yeah, that's
There's
what.
this one scene where you go into this little ice cavern, and these eggs start hatching out, and then these baby dragons show up, and it's so cute. Um, Perfect integrated storytelling, perfect ride mechanic, great animatronics, great use of the world. 10. It's literally a 10. Like, so I made a ranking,
Okay.
of the rides. In last place, easily, is Curse of the Werewolf. Like,
And we can kind of leave this as kind of like maybe next 10 minutes. We can kind of
yeah,
wrap it up. But yeah.
yeah.
Sorry if I'm cutting you off. I just
No, you're good.
a lot of stuff to do before to do anything else
Yeah, no,
today.
I got you. So Curse of the Werewolf is last place, easily.
All right.
It's not great. Then right above that is Yoshi's Adventure, because it's cute. There's not much to it, but it's cute.
Right.
Then above that, this is when it gets a little difficult. I'd probably go Mario Kart still.
Okay.
It's fun, but it's still kind of a mess, probably. Then I'd probably go Harry Potter. Then I'd go Stardust Racers, and then for me personally, I'd probably go Monsters Unleashed and then Hiccups Gliders.
Gotcha.
But that's like a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
I think as far as ride mechanic, like the Monsters ride changes the game.
Right.
But those are two, in my opinion, those are two 10 out of 10 attractions, and those are two attractions I would easily put above Tron.
There's a lot of things I'd put in front of Tron.
Guardians, even Rise of Resistance. Like, I would pretty much put those two rides over most anything Disney's made within the last 10 to 15 years. So,
good.
And that's my epic experience.
Yeah. The only thing that they need to change is the name.
Yeah. It's pretty lame. Pull it MGM Studios and change it to something else, please.
Yep. I don't even know what you would do it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it does live up to the name. It is epic.
gosh, it's just 2010 epic. This is so epic.
People need to be wearing shutter shades,
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you yourself will be able to experience epic. I hope I will someday. We'll see.
Yeah. Sorry that I rambled. I had to get this out.
No, you're good. You're good. But let us know if you've been to Epic, how you enjoyed it. Maybe what you'd like to see future of, maybe what Universal's going to do now, because now they solidified themselves as almost top dog, which is actually something I never thought would ever happen. But
this is next level stuff.
Yep,
Like,
they're stepping up their game. They realized there's this hole, and they're like, "Well, I'm gonna fill it." So they have, and they're not only doing good with the theme park game, but also the movie game.
Yeah.
So I could easily see if they continue making stuff, I can easily see them doing a whole section based off Five Nights at Freddy's.
You never know.
Because they're doing it for Halloween Horror Nights. I know that. This got confirmed.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So funny.
But anyways, yeah. Is there anything else you want to end it off with, or just?
I think pretty much wrapped it up.
Did you end up making out with Toothless?
Oh no,